the boss of the fastest growing criminal network in Mexico, notorious for trafficking fentanyl, methamphetamine, and cocaine to the United States, and starting brazen attacks against government officials who challenged his trafficking. Also killed were a prison guard, an agent from a state prosecutor's office, and a woman whom Garcia did not identify. He also said Monday some 30 criminal suspects were killed in Jalisco, and 4 others were killed in Michoacan. In national news, Atlantic Canada utilities and municipalities are preparing for more snow and strong winds, with Environment Canada issuing winter storm and blowing snow warnings for much of Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and eastern New Brunswick, and forecasting gusts up to 100 kilometers an hour. In the wreck house area of southwestern Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Power will activate its Emergency Operations Center at 8 a.m. and has crews ready as heavy snow and high winds could down trees and slow repairs when winds reach 80 kilometers an hour, while winds could blow down trees and reach 80 kilometers an hour, while St. John's municipality facilities are close to clear. Snowfalls reach 56 centimeters. There are 65 centimeters in Mount Pearl, 74 centimeters, and Paradise, contributing to seasonal totals of near 330 centimeters in St. John's. That up next, your provincial Ontario news. Highway 401 on Sunday evening, ending up Highway 401 on Sunday evening, a bus ended up flipping on its side in a ditch. OPP Sergeant Aaron Carton says police were alerted about the crash, which happened east of Nepean, Ontario, close to 7:15 p.m. Carton says approximately 50 people were on board the vehicle, and while injuries were still being assessed a few hours afterward, she says there were no fatalities. She also says it didn't appear any of the injuries were life-threatening. An eastbound section of Highway 401 between Country Road 4 and Country Road 6 remained closed after the crash. Carton says there were reports of icing conditions in the area at the time. Sports and weather next.
INDI Sports.
In Olympic news, the Olympics came to an end yesterday with men's hockey gold medals game. Team Canada loses 21-1 to the United States, earning a silver medal. Canada overall had 21 medals and ended in 11th place. Olympic winner was Norway with 41 medals, 18 of them golden. Dribbling over to the NBA, there were 3 games tonight. Spurs at Pistons at 7, Kings at Grizzlies at 8, and Rockets face the Jazz at 9:30. And last night, your Toronto Raptors hunted and mauled the Bucks, beating them 122 to 94. Weather now.
INDI weather.
Today will be -2 degrees, feeling like -7. Tomorrow will be -9, feeling like -15. Tonight will be -9, feeling like -17. And outside the INDI newsroom, it's -2 with a scattering of flurries, feeling like -7. Hey, you are listening to INDI 101.5. You just heard an amazing song, Black Keys, by The Run Right Back. And, oh my gosh, fellas, you're listening to the What's the Point show. And today we have to talk about it, right? We're going to talk about a lot of losses, but mostly the most important one we're going to talk about right now is the Olympic Team Canada losses. And I'm not talking speed skating where we got 4th. I'm not talking controversies when it comes to curling and other things. I am talking fully about Canadian hockey and how unfortunately, our men and women's teams lost to the United States in overtime after such a close game, dominant game from the men yesterday. Unfortunate loss. We controlled that game. We just couldn't get it done. And It upset me, it upset all my friends, it upset everybody I know. But, like, despite that, I'm still proud of Team Canada. Our women, they fought hard. They really struggled to get to the gold medal game, right? We got a pretty old women's team, and they lost to a very young American team. But that don't mean our legacy isn't all about W's. That don't mean our legacy isn't all about wins, right? We're about to come back in another 4 years. 4 nations, all the other little tournaments in between where our nations get to face off. Canada's going to be on top. So let's not fret. Let's not lose hope. We still got the most gold medals when it comes to hockey in the first place, so we got nothing to worry about. Anyway, up next is Sharp Sounds, The Sheepdog on INDI 101.5. INDI 101.5. Yes, I'm back. You don't usually get to hear me back so soon. That was Sharp Sound by the Sheepdogs. And fellas, you're listening to the What's the Point show. I'm your host, Sam's On Point. And I'm here to lighten the mood. The first break, yes, I talked about loss, about our Canadian loss. But this break, I'm going to talk about personal loss. And it ain't nothing like, oh my gosh, something sad like my dog died. No. This is about how I lost an edge. Now, if you skate, you know the term losing an edge. So embarrassing. So embarrassing. So I was probably just above Timbit level of hockey, right? It's early morning. It's like 8 a.m. My dad dropped me off for a game, and I'm playing the game. I'm playing defense, you know. I'm backwards skating. I'm doing pretty well, and then I have to rotate to skating forward. Now, funny thing about me, I'm a better backward skater than I am a forward skater, at least at the time. So I skate forward towards the puck, and because we're children, it's like a bunch of cow chasing the last piece of grass. Everyone's hurting around it. I trip and fall and got run over by every other kid on the ice. Like, every other kid on the ice. And, oh, man. And I find out later, guess what my dad says? Hey, there was a CTV news crew behind us, live, recording us as B-roll. So if you look hard enough, you could find me getting run over as a child. But let me know your embarrassing stories about losing, quote unquote, by hitting me up on Sam's On Point on Instagram, Twitter, or any other social media. Even email me. I'll check you out. Up next is your Entertainment Minute on INDI 101.5.
INDI Entertainment.
Taylor Swift continues to dominate in the music charts with a record-breaking streaming numbers, okay? She's breaking records, while Billie Eilish is drawing attention with her latest live performance and award season appearance. In film news, Dune Part 2 is performing strongly at the box office, and television audiences are discussing the latest season of The Last of Us as it releases new episodes. Meanwhile, entertainment award seasons continue to generate buzz across the industry. I'm Sam's On Point, and that was your Entertainment Minute on INDI 101.5.
Since you're already here, this is INDI 101.5, Hamilton's home for alternative.
That was Bombs Away by Big Wreck. That was a banger. Banger. You're listening to What's the Point show on INDI 101.5. It is currently 1:26 in the PM, and you're listening to the host with Moses, Sam's On Point. Now, I'm trying my best to make sure that I don't explode and spoil all my topics coming up. But I'm just saying, we're continuing with the theme of loss for the show today, so don't forget to stay tuned. Anyway, up next, another break. INDI 101.5, Where It's At by Beck, another banger. We have been saying nothing but straight hit music now on INDI 101.5. You're listening to What's the Point show with your host, Sam's On Point, and we're continuing with the theme of loss right now, and losing in games. Losing in all forms of games, video games, board games. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it sucks. And my biggest pet peeve when it comes to losing in games, especially with video games, is losing progress. Now, I've been getting really into classic video games like Doom, all these classic shooters, because you could get a bundle on the Xbox. I already know I'm a big Xbox gamer, right? And oh my gosh, before I figured out that you could actually save the game, struggle. Nothing but struggle. I would fight and fight and fight and fight and fight these monsters, and I'd be like, oh man, I can't find a health pack. Oh man, I'm low. I can't die again and restart the level. And even once I figured out how to save, I would save and then I'd go on a roll and I wouldn't save again until I'd die to a boss, die to a murder shed. And if you don't know what a murder shed is where you open a door and there's just a horde of monsters behind it. Even in a board game like Monopoly, because that thing can take days if you really wanted to, coming back and forgetting how much money you had, coming back and not remembering where all your pieces were on the board, like even coming back after Uno, going to the bathroom, and then people skipped your turn because you were taking too long, that kind of struggle is what I'm talking about. I hate losing my progress. Oh, and on the computer too, but that's for a different time. Anyway, up next, it's One Step Ahead by the GOAT, Jack Johnson, on INDI 1015. INDI 1015, and you are listening to Don't Care About You by Pygmy on INDI 1015. Listen to What's the Point show. I'm your host, Sam's on Point, and welcome to the What's the Point segment. And the point, as always, Black History Month. Nate Turner, he was someone who rebelled against slavery. He leads a slave rebellion. On February 12th, 1831, there was a solar eclipse. A slave named Nate Turner saw it as a sign. He felt it was time for slaves in Virginia to rebel against the house, rebel against their masters. On August 21st, he and a few companions went from house to house freeing slaves. They killed about 60 white people before a militia stopped them. In the aftermath, as many as 200 black people were killed. Black people were attacked in other southern states too. Turner was captured at the end of October. He was tried and hung in November. Because Turner had been literate, it became illegal to teach blacks to read. As a result of this ban on literacy, education for black people became an important issue of after the Civil War. Now, that is not the most positive thing after a hard day yesterday, but that led us into an underdog story where we have fought back. And it's good to know that it wasn't just a passive black people were not just passive while they were enslaved. They tried to fight back. And I think that's an important thing to know. What's the Point show celebrates Black History Month. That was She by Pacific State, and unfortunately, this is the last I'm going to hear on the What's the Point show on INDI 1015 with your host, Sam's on Point. But if you're like, oh man, I just tuned in, and I love the Sam's on Point show. I can't believe I forgot to listen. Don't forget, I'm live on Spotify. I'm live on SoundCloud. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on every other social. Just look up my name, Sam's on Point. SAMSONPOINT. One word. Trust. You'll find me. Anyway, up next, Still in Love Song by Stales on INDI 1015.